He's at the bottom right of the map. The Quantic player, former TSL Terran. Here's
Quantic Center.
Very focused. He's up against a GSL champion, defeating MC in Busan. He is
LGIM Seed.
one of many GSL champions from the team LGIM. Wearing that on his collar.
yeah.
It was his turn to fly last season.
This is going to be so difficult for both of them. They are on eye level. You could really see that in the last game. In the first one, Seed was really getting into Center's head. He completely had his number. He was fooling his opponent into thinking that he would attack with a huge amount of gateway units. Didn't, teched instead, played it a little bit greedy, was getting away with it, and crushed Center then later on. Harvesting, yeah, what you saw earlier. But now we suddenly have a tie situation in the best of 3. And this is a map, and these are also 2 players where any of them can win this.
Seed is doing something weird, man. What is this? Did he click the wrong spot on the map, or does he want to try to hide his probe?
For a second, I really thought he might go for one of those proxy robotics, but the timing just doesn't work at all. So
I think
it was really weird.
on the mini map. Doesn't make any sense for him to be down there like that. Now he's going to see the barracks, but he doesn't see anything else. Well, he has only taken 1 gas. Probably going to see 1 reactor expand versus 1 gate expand. Considering that neither player has done anything that looks like otherwise except a weird scout from Seed. He sends the probe all the way home, in fact. Not even going to leave it on the watchtower or to check for move-outs.
Marine scouts the vicinity of the natural at the same time in the main base of Center. We have 1 SCV. This is, of course, always the good thing that you have on a 2-player map. With the scouting information, you can't get wrong in Whirlwind. We had the scenario earlier where 1 player got the immediate scouting information as the other one. Scouted the entire map, came way too late, didn't get his probe in, and especially for Brawlers, this is really, really annoying. Yeah. When you don't know anything at all, you don't even know if there's a natural or not, then your opponent could do whatever.
Could do anything, yeah. That's why 4-player maps are getting less popular, I feel. Map makers are starting to realize that there are ways to make a 2-player map really good without any of the randomness that a 4-player map oftentimes leads to in the early game.
On the other hand, we've seen a lot of players trying to go for very sneaky openings because they gamble on their opponent not scouting them on the first position. Moon in the GSTL comes to mind when he started those 6 pools on maps like Toon Valley.
Yeah. I mean, a 4-player map is always... There are certain risks and gambles that come with it, but doesn't mean that it's not fair.
I feel a good 2-player map is better. You have to mix it up.
And you know, there are some 4-player maps that are actually 2-player maps, like like Antigua Shipyard, because it's a cross positions only. It's basically a 2-player map. There's the second gas going up for Seed. He goes 2 gates before, so with his later gas, he powered up the minerals to get the gates. Now he can add the second gas and add his robotics.
And this time he's playing it very different from the last game. He is, as you said, going into the gateways instead of adding his tech. And if you remember, we had in the last game not only the robotics, but also the forge before he started the gateways. So this was really the build or the goal that was going for. A force that centered around the +2 armor upgrade and him attacking, which he didn't end up doing because Sender was aggressive himself. And Seed really wants to confirm that there is an expansion. He sees the bunker now, but he didn't actually see the command center because it's still on its way.
Yep. The watchtowers are about to disappear. In fact, I think they just... Okay, so on this map, it's not 6 minutes, it's 7 minutes. That Marine gets scout information on the Nexus. Watchtowers deserted as they're about to disappear, and Seed... You know, I thought we might see him go for the Twilight Council again on this map, but instead he's not only going into robotics, but he's going into an Immortal. We could see still a timing attack. Would not blame him for that. The Starport goes down for Center in the main base. He is going for Banshees as a follow-up to this. It's not what I expected to see on this map.
You can see that both of them right now are very, very reluctant to be overly aggressive. Up to this point, they have a lot of respect for each other. Trying to sit tight, going for the 2-base play. and just macroing it up. The Banshee, even with Cloak, and this is one of the reasons why I seem really happy that he did not go into a Templar Archive, but started with the robotics here.
Yeah.
Siege tanks also immediately being built for Santa.
Yeah, he's gonna take a page out of the book that we saw when the players earlier. I won't spoil exactly what happened, but I'm gonna go for a siege tank timing push with Banshees. I love that pylon placement on the high ground here. It gives you vision of any units that walk by, but also you can get a warp in from that. This is not looking good for center. He's facing an army composition that's designed to beat his. As long as Seed doesn't overextend here, he's going to be fine. He could try to break this.
Yeah.
It's a little bit iffy though with the siege tank there. I'd rather see him just go, oh, you have a siege tank? Okay, I'm just going to sit back and defend. Now I know what you're doing.
With the siege tank, he's not likely to take this. The SCVs can also repair the tank. The second bunker would be up. The Banshee's on its way. He just missed it. He might see it with the Observer. It's going to be close. I think he's not going to spot it. No, it's so close again. And this means that his Observer is going to be out of position. He won't have detection in his main base.
Ooh, and center doesn't have detection of these rocks. He doesn't know the rocks are busted. He might find himself busted. How much will this Banshee actually distract Seed? He starts to lose some probes. He starts his Observer. Here come the forces up here, though, and this is not the angle that center wants.
He could even walk into the main base and drop a force field, or try to. The siege tank is already gone. The Banshee is still doing damage. Seed is moving back. The second Banshee is out. He just doesn't have vision. An immediate cloak. Banshee in the main base is gone. 9 Harvesters killed. A few Zealots with a pathing mistake.
Seed is in danger here. He's going to lose. He could have killed that sentry. Still loses a lot of units to that Banshee, and the probe count now in favor of center, 45 to 42. Storm is started. This is going to be pretty useful against an attack that center may decide to cancel anyways. He's starting stem. He's going into a more normal composition. Center still has a strong timing attack and use the siege tanks, but I think he's going to play a little bit more passively and defensively at this point in time. I mean, he lost his tank earlier already. That makes the push so much weaker.
Resources lost, if you just look at them, are very, very similar. And I love this Storm upgrade, this early Storm upgrade. It reminds me a lot of Parting style that he showed when he first came into the GSL.
Yep. Double gas is going up now at the natural. 4 centers map. Total gas mining off 2 base, which is going to allow him to get into his tech. For example, his upgrades for bio, which he already has the engineering bay for. Seed, on the other hand, getting his gateways up. Storm is done. Now getting charge. Both players just kind of hitting that strides for their macro. And neither of them are really ahead of the other.
One of the things that Seed can't really do is attack into the Terran again. There are too many siege tanks by now. So crushing this is really going to be difficult. I wouldn't want to risk it. With the siege tanks and siege mode being set up, this looks like there is no way to crush through Center's defense. Seed would be well advised to either try to go in there with the Warp Prism that he's currently building, or just trying to macro it up. Maybe get the third base, get the units out, get the production. And of course make sure that those Banshees are not doing too much damage.
The Banshee is doing a decent amount of damage already so far at 2 kills here. Forcing the warp in. He's just keeping Seed occupied right now.
Could you please check if he saw the Templar Archive? Because I think he doesn't know, and he didn't see High Templars.
No, he doesn't know.
He has no idea. So there comes a Storm drop now. And you know, Center didn't see a High Templar, he didn't see the Templar Archive, so right now he has no clue, which is why we don't see the Ghost Academy.
No turrets.
Absolutely clueless about this.
Turrets are what he needs to defend a drop like this. He doesn't have a Viking either, so when the drop comes in, he's going to lose SCVs no matter what. There's no way, it's basically, no human can be perfect enough to be able to save all of his SCVs against a drop that comes in like this.
The only question is, how many will he lose?
Yeah, exactly.
Where is that Warp Prism?
It's in the main. He just sent it. He was a little bit slow on that. It's actually still waiting.
There's the scan, and the scan in the main base reveals High Templars. I don't think he saw any.
I think he just saw the Warp Prism only.
Yeah, the Warp Prism contains all the High Templars. There was not a single one in the scan range, which is why we still don't see a Ghost Academy.
So he's not even going to go for the Templar drop. He's just keeping his Templar on there not only to hide them, but also to shield them from EMPs. He has to be careful about the Vikings, of course, though. Which center is now making blindly, as you said, because he doesn't know whether the Templar, he hasn't seen it yet. That's why he wanted to scan. But what he did see as well is no Colossi. So he sees no Templar, no Colossi. He has to make an educated guess.
I actually feel that this is the only reason why we don't see additional Vikings. I think he probably would have gone up at least to 4, maybe even 6 before this. And oh my god, Seed is now moving, Senta is moving in, and he pulls his SCVs.
Terran players these days against Pros, man, they're all doing this.
Yeah, they are all doing this, and Seed has a beautiful weapon against it. With Storm against this composition, it is great.
I'm trying to think of the word that's better than great. It's wonderful. It's exceptionally good.
If he has good storms, there are only 2 medivacs.
He's got him in the Warp Prism, so he can just drop on top and Storm. He messes it up, though, a little bit late, and he doesn't hit that many units, but I think the second one might be too good.
The second one was brilliant. Seed is moving back right now.
The tanks are too much! Seed is going to lose his Immortals here, and the Storms, I feel, were a little bit late. They were not as good as they could have been, but the Bioforce is very low on hit points.
Did he drop those High Templars on top of the army?
Well, on the edge, and then eventually on top of the army, yes.
So right now, he doesn't have any High Templars anymore. He has two, but they don't have the energy just yet. He needs more High Templars with energy.
Yeah. I'm trying to find exactly where those Templar are. Okay, those 2 he just warped, and they need about 10 more in-game seconds.
And he needs more time.
He needs more time. He doesn't have it. The probes going to the 3rd base. He's so lucky he has that, but I think Center might just have too much. This force is overwhelming with the siege tanks. It's going to be contained. He needs another Warp Prism so he can try to move these Templar around.
Center looked, I don't want to say dead, but he looked like he would be very surprised to see suddenly at least 4, 5, 6 storms raining upon his army. But in the end, the only storms that Seed was able to drop were 2. And one of those was not even hitting well.
Yeah, I mean, Center has the base on lockdown as well. He can take down the 3rd base. He's killed the natural already. There's siege tanks on the ramp. The medevac's giving vision. He's going to take out this robotics. No more Immortals. He picks up the Templar in the Warp Prism, but he drops them out immediately because he knows he needs those storms. Yeah. He has to use these storms perfectly.
Yes, he needs perfect storms. If not for perfect storms, he will definitely lose this game.
And here we go. He's going to go for the storms, but he needs to be on top of the whole army, not just the group on top of the high ground. There's another decent storm. Where's the main one, though? He doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it. The siege tanks are focusing, manually targeting down those High Templars, and at this point, there's not a single one left. He doesn't have storms anymore. And there's the GG!
Center does it again. 2 for 2, eliminating Seed from the GSL.
Wow.
This kid is good, man. Watch out for him.
He's good and he's happy. What a guy. But I have to say it this way, Seed messed up in the fight. He messed up with his storms. The last 2 High Templars dropped on top of the army, and he had 4 High Templars, and I think they were at full energy, and all he got was 2 storms.
And they weren't even perfect. One of them hit like a siege tank and a few Bioforce. The second one was much better.
The second one was really good, but you can't only hit 2 storms. You invest so much in this entire tech. You even have the Warp Prism because you want to shield them against ghosts that aren't there. You have the option of going for a Storm Drop too.
I think he may have misclicked. You know, when you drop units out like that, so close to that many other units, you may, try to click on the units. They probably weren't hotkeyed because before they were in the Prism. So he probably just messed up his control a little bit there, and that cost him the game, I feel.
He needed the storms, he didn't get them, and that's why he lost the game. Center was pushing in, pulling all his SCVs once more. So now we have Seed back in Code B. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed.
2 times Center facing Seed, 2 seasons in a row in the first round.
This time, this series, Center looked even better.
Yeah.
Like last time, it was kind of it seemed like a fluke based on Seed's play, but this time it seemed real, like very real. Like Seed didn't make mistakes like missing a force field that he shouldn't have missed. Any normal player would have hit that. Yeah, the storms at the end were a little bit weird, but overall, I feel like the play we saw from Center was a little bit more refined. He's getting better. We saw good play from him in the up and downs already.
The thing is, Center in the last season, who did he beat in the second round? He took down 2 players where we really thought, okay, this kid is the underdog against both of them. And then Parting crushed him in the 3rd round. This is how he ended up being in the up and downs. And unfortunately, my page doesn't load right now, but I'm going to look that up later. So Center, we were a little bit surprised last season because he just dropped down Gdes, and you would expect him, okay, well, he's probably going up again. Then Center really crushed him, but proved in the second round that it was not just a fluke, that it was really solid play that was behind it. So he did it again.
He did it again.
Advances to the second round. And for C, this is of course very unfortunate. He just requalified for Code A and is now back in Code B. Has to play the next qualifier.
Yep. Well, we have, before we go into our next match, which will be a Zerg vs. Zerg between Bjell and Effort, we have another 5-minute break. So tell your friends to get on and watch this, and we'll see you all soon.